Tragic fuel tanker explosion in Port Harcourt, unveiling the causes and lessons learned. Immediate cause of the outbreak. The fuel tanker explosion that rocked the Element portion of the east-west road in Rivers State on the evening of April 26, 2024, was triggered by a collision between a petrol-laden tanker and a heavy-duty truck. The impact of the collision caused the tanker to spill its highly flammable contents, leading to a catastrophic inferno that engulfed nearby vehicles. Remote causes and contributing factors: poor safety culture of logistics and petroleum companies. The incident underscores a systemic failure in maintaining adequate safety standards within the logistics and petroleum industries. This includes insufficient training for drivers, lax enforcement of safety regulations, and inadequate maintenance of vehicles. The deplorable condition of the east-west road, exacerbated by years of neglect by government authorities, played a significant role in the tragedy. The ongoing construction on one side of the road contributed to severe traffic congestion, trapping motorists in a vulnerable position when the accident occurred. The traffic congestion resulting from the road construction project created a hazardous situation for motorists. With limited avenues for escape, individuals were trapped in their vehicles, unable to flee from the spreading flames. The lack of effective firefighting infrastructure and emergency response protocols further compounded the severity of the incident. Delays in mobilizing firefighting teams and emergency services allowed the fire to escalate rapidly, resulting in greater loss of life and property. Avoidability and precautions. While accidents are often unpredictable, the catastrophic consequences of this incident were largely avoidable through proactive measures and adherence to safety protocols. Key precautions to prevent similar tragedies in the future include: there should be comprehensive safety training programs for drivers and personnel involved in the transportation and handling of hazardous materials. Government should enforce stringent safety regulations and conduct regular inspections to ensure compliance by logistics and petroleum companies. Government should prioritize the maintenance and rehabilitation of road infrastructure to prevent traffic congestion and mitigate the risks of accidents. Invest in firefighting equipment, establish efficient emergency response mechanisms, and conduct regular drills to enhance preparedness for disasters. Lessons learned. The tragic fuel tanker explosion serves as a stark reminder of the critical importance of prioritizing safety across all levels of society. It underscores the need for collective action to address systemic deficiencies in safety culture, infrastructure, and emergency response. By learning from this devastating incident and implementing proactive measures, we can work towards preventing similar disasters and safeguarding lives and property in the future. Fire safety is not just the responsibility of a few. It is a collective duty that requires the commitment and cooperation of all stakeholders. The economic implications of a fire disaster of such magnitude, particularly in a context of economic challenges like those prevalent in Nigeria and Port Harcourt, are profound and multifaceted. Let's delve into some key aspects. Direct economic losses. The direct economic losses resulting from the destruction of property, including vehicles, infrastructure, and other assets, are significant. The estimated loss of 2.4 billion naira in properties underscores the immediate financial impact of the disaster. This loss represents a drain on both private and public resources, as individuals, businesses, and government agencies grapple with the financial repercussions. Disruption of economic activities. The disruption caused by the fire disaster extends beyond the immediate destruction of property. The closure of roads, particularly a critical artery like the east-west road, disrupts transportation networks and supply chains, hampering the movement of goods and people. This disruption reverberates across various sectors of the economy, leading to delays in deliveries, production slowdowns, and loss of revenue for businesses. Impact on livelihoods. The loss of livelihoods resulting from the destruction of vehicles and other assets has far-reaching consequences for individuals and families. Many of those affected may rely on their vehicles for income, such as transportation services or goods delivery. The inability to replace or repair these assets quickly can plunge households into financial distress, exacerbating existing economic hardships. Insurance burden. The burden on insurance companies to compensate for the losses incurred adds another layer of economic strain.
The scale of the damages, coupled with the high number of casualties and injuries, could lead to significant payouts by insurance providers. This, in turn, may impact premiums for policyholders and contribute to broader insurance market challenges. Impact on local businesses and the informal economy. Port Harcourt, like many urban centers in Nigeria, has a vibrant informal economy comprising small businesses and street vendors. The disruption caused by the fire disaster can have devastating effects on these businesses, many of which operate on thin profit margins and lack adequate insurance coverage. The loss of assets and infrastructure may force some businesses to close permanently, further exacerbating unemployment and poverty in the area. Government expenditure and recovery efforts. The government faces increased pressure to allocate resources towards recovery and reconstruction efforts in the aftermath of the disaster. This entails expenditures on emergency response, infrastructure rehabilitation, and support for affected individuals and businesses. In a fiscal environment already strained by competing priorities, such expenditures may strain public finances and divert resources from other essential services and development projects. Truly, the economic implications of the fuel tanker explosion in Port Harcourt are far-reaching and multifaceted, affecting individuals, businesses, and the broader economy. Addressing the economic fallout requires a coordinated response from government, businesses, insurers, and communities to mitigate losses, support recovery efforts, and rebuild resilience against future disasters.
The impact of the fuel tanker explosion on families who have lost their loved ones, primary breadwinners, and means of livelihood is profound and heartbreaking. As a family-oriented journalist and loss therapist, it's crucial to understand and address the multifaceted needs of these families during such a challenging time. Emotional trauma and grief. Families who have lost loved ones in the tragedy are likely experiencing overwhelming grief and emotional trauma. The sudden and violent nature of the incident compounds the pain, leaving families struggling to come to terms with their loss. As a loss therapist, providing a safe space for these families to express their emotions, process their grief, and receive counseling support is essential. Offering compassionate listening, empathy, and validation of their feelings can help individuals and families navigate the grieving process. Financial hardship and uncertainty. For families who have lost their primary breadwinners or sources of income, the economic impact of the tragedy is severe. The sudden loss of financial stability plunges these families into uncertainty and hardship, exacerbating their emotional distress. Immediate financial assistance is crucial to help alleviate their suffering and meet basic needs such as food, shelter, and medical care. Setting up relief funds or financial assistance programs specifically targeted at these families can provide much-needed support during this difficult time. Practical support and resources. Families may require practical support in navigating various challenges, such as funeral arrangements, legal matters, and accessing social services. As a family-oriented journalist, providing information about available resources, support networks, and assistance programs can empower families to seek help and access the support they need. Connecting families with community organizations, religious groups, and counseling services can also provide valuable practical and emotional support. Long-term rehabilitation and recovery. The road to recovery for families affected by the tragedy is long and challenging. Beyond immediate relief efforts, there is a need for long-term rehabilitation and recovery support. This may include vocational training, job placement assistance, educational scholarships for children who have lost parents, and mental health services to address lingering trauma and grief. Collaborating with government agencies, NGOs, and community-based organizations to develop comprehensive rehabilitation programs tailored to the needs of affected families is essential for rebuilding lives and restoring hope for the future. In summary, families affected by the fuel tanker explosion require holistic support that addresses their emotional, financial, practical, and long-term rehabilitation needs. As a family-oriented journalist and loss therapist, advocating for their rights, amplifying their voices, and mobilizing resources to support their recovery journey is a crucial aspect of fostering healing and resilience in the aftermath of such a tragedy.